Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer kicking off a 20-cent, $100,000 guaranteed pick four at Woodbine on Woodbine Mile Saturday. And the sequence begins with race number 7, the Grade 2 $250,000 Canadian Stakes. Again, if you can't make it to the track at Woodbine on Saturday and you live in the Ontario area, no better place to experience the live racing action than at one of over 50 Champions off-track betting locations throughout Ontario. Champions off-track betting brings the excitement of racing closer to home. Let's meet the field for the Grade 2 Canadian. This is a one-turn 9 furlongs over the spacious E.P. Taylor turf course. And again, $250,000 is the purse. Before we take the field in post-position order, I want to take a look at this Timeform U.S. pace projector because this could very well be the key to this race. It's a gray bar situation. That means no speed. They're going to be walking, trotting horse fractions. And while Dixie Moon is on the lead, if Starship Jubilee is not aggressively ridden this time around, then something's wrong. Yes, she's run well rating in her last few races, but we've seen what Starship Jubilee can do to similar fields when she has her way on the front end, Mike.
Yeah, they got to put her on the lead this time. There's no speed really to go with her. And you're right that she's run fine rating, but she's a better horse when they use her speed.
Now let's talk about the field in post-position order. The number 1 is Touriga, Group 1 winner in her native Brazil. She only ran in a 3-horse field on Matchmaker Day. A lot of those fields at Monmouth scratched because of just oppressively hot conditions. And Touriga really didn't have a chance. It's a short field. They turn into the stretch. 3-horse race. No pace up front. She's down inside. Really didn't get a clear run. That's a nice mare that's beating her, Mike. I'm so fancy. I know competition of ideas, the horse that's runner-ups in here as well, but Touriga can do a lot better than this in a bigger field with more of a fair shot.
Yeah, it's hard to just judge her off of that race with only 2 other horses in there. Did she get in tight in the stretch? Yes. She wasn't winning anyway. I still think it's hard to gauge how good she is just based on her form in Brazil, but she could take a step forward in this race.
Got some big names at Woodbine on Saturday. Got Stormy in the Woodbine Mile. Pink Lloyd in the Bold Venture. Holy Helena qualifies. Queen's Plate winner of 2017, multiple graded stakes winner on the turf, coming into this race off a win in the Dance Smartly back on June the 29th. Let's turn into the stretch of that race. Here she is in the white noseband in between horses. Starship Jubilee is to her outside, and Holy Helena is just a little bit better than Starship Jubilee on this day. She's rock solid. I think we know where she fits right now. She's a mid-90s buyer horse. If someone jumps up and runs a 98, 99, she could be in trouble, but she at least has the tactical speed to adapt to any kind of pace, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. She can get a good trip in this race. She got a great trip in that race we just watched, the Dance Smartly. Just a really good ride from Castellano, keeping her in the game, as opposed to Starship Jubilee, who just did not get a good ride at all, where they took her back early for some reason. This horse ran well, though. I really liked her effort in the New York two-back as well. She did not get a great trip in that race, and she still ran well.
Got to be a lot of pressure on this young rider, Kimura, local Woodbine jockey, riding the 3 Magnetic Charm for the Queen of England. I like this horse's race in the Sandringham 2 starts back. 27-horse field, in and among horses, altered course. Had her chance, ran real well to finish second. She came out of that race, and because she ran so well, was the odds-on favorite in a stakes race at Royal Ascot, or Ascot the next month. Let's watch that race right now, and she's going to run fine. She runs third. It was an okay effort. I think, though, that she's got a lot of upside potential. And as a 3-year-old filly, she gets in pretty light here.
Yeah, she didn't really have a big excuse in this race, but it's not a terrible performance. And as I agree with you, I thought her race 2 back in the Sandringham was really good. She just felt like at that point, like a 3-year-old filly who was just headed the right way. I know she's never been this far down. I'm not worried about distance with her. I think she's a contender in this race, and she's a great price on the line.
I agree, and you saw she poked her head in front in those royal silks with the pink sleeves, and she just got outrun at the end of that race. But I agree, I think distance is better for her, and I just think she's going to like the Americanized style of running. She's raced over a left-handed turf course once. That's at York, and the York race course plays a lot like the North American race courses. She won that day, got a lot of upside. Dixie Moon is the number 4, and Catherine Dade Phillips has kind of been tinkering with this horse, trying to get her to her best form. Blinkers on, then Lasix off, running on synthetic. She's back on the turf here. Listen, she won the Woodbine Oaks in 2018. She's got class. I just don't know where she is from a form cycle.
Yeah, I don't like her recent races. It's not like she has, these turf races that stack up real well with the better horses in here. I just didn't really see her playing a big part in the outcome here, although I guess they could use her speed.
You and I have different opinions on the 5 competition of ideas. I like her slightly more than you do. In the Matchmaker 2 starts back, really no excuse at 2-5 not to win. I'm So Fancy might just simply be better than she is, but she was right up close to that glacial pace in that 3-horse field and couldn't get it done. In the Beverly D, she kicked on well, and I think that's going to encourage some folks until you go back and you actually watch that race where there was just a blistering pace up front. The runner-up might have run one of the better races of them all because she was up close. No one's beating Sister Charlie, and you kind of just got the feeling someone had to run third, and Competition of Ideas did. That being said, her usual fig fits very well with these horses.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I can't argue with that, obviously. If she runs her typical race, or at least the races she's been running this year, the figures say that she's a contender. 8-5 on the morning line is not for me. I would never bet her at that price against these horses, but she can win.
I'm kind of hoping she drifts up with horses like Holy Helena and the European Invader in this race. Let's move over to Starship Jubilee. Now again, Starship Jubilee won this race in 2018 from off the pace, but she has shown that she can win from on the lead, and as we saw from the pace projector, there's no pace going on. We saw her run second to Holy Helena 2-back. She then shipped to Saratoga to run in the Boston Spa. Now, maybe this wasn't the strongest Boston Spa field in the world. You see her in the blue silk swinging about 3 wide into the stretch, and as you can see, she's just a little trier. She's going to show up every time. She's going to give it her all. This is one of those blanket finishes where you could, put 5 or a ring around 5 of them.
Yeah, they all sort of hit the wire together. You're right, this wasn't the strongest Boston Spa. I thought that she ran well, though, if only because she was stuck 3 wide the entire way. Jose Lezcano could never get her over to save any ground. She did not give up in this stretch, though. I thought she got a really bad ride 2-back. I don't know what they were doing, taking her way back off the pace that day. They should use her speed, get her forward in this race, and her good race makes her a huge contender.
And if she gets the jump on some of these horses in the stretch, again, she really will try her heart out. And 1 1/8 is a good distance for her. 1 1/8 might not be the best distance for the 7 Giovanna Blues. I don't want to knock a hot horse going out for a hot barn, but they stretched her out to her preferred distance. 1.5 miles last time out in the Flaming Page. The results speak for themselves. They turn into the stretch, and here's Giovanna Blues right now, just staying on and staying on. She's the number 6 in this race. She takes the lead, and she just keeps grinding it out. Her prior big effort came back in that Robert G. Dick Memorial in July of 2018, where she ran second going 1 3/8. 1 1/8 in a race without pace. She's up against it. I don't want to knock a long shot that's sharp, but she's going to have to find, some things are going to have to happen for her to win this.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like not only is she going to need to just somehow get the right trip in a race that doesn't feel like it's going to set up for her, she's probably going to need a couple of these horses not to show up with their best race.
Pick time for the Grade 2 Canadian. It kicks off a 20-cent, $100,000 guaranteed pick 4. I'm maybe the only member of the Competition of Ideas fan club, but from a class perspective, I think she just fits with these horses. And if it doesn't get done here, Chad's going to be scratching his head figuring out where to place her. I went 5, 3, and 2, but you like Starship Jubilee. And again, if she can either sit second or get to the lead and back this down, she's going to be tough to catch.
Yeah, I just think she fits really well in here. I think she should get one of the better trips in the race as well if they just use her speed, which they haven't been doing lately. I went 6, 3, 2, and 5.
Just a great card at Woodbine on Saturday. Big names, big races, big purses. One of them being the Grade 2 Canadian with an approximate post time of 4:30 Eastern. Good luck.